Now we turn our attention again to Chile, and particularly the vulnerability that the country suffers to US tariffs. Chile's top export is copper. Mining is a quarter of the world's supply, and the Trump administration's threatening a 25% tariff on copper. The US is Chile's second largest trade partner, so the effects could be somewhat disastrous. Iván Arriagada is the chief executive of Antofagasta. I think I've got that right, sir.
Yes.
One of Chile's largest copper mines. Copper mines. I'm good to see you, sir. We know copper is a review taking place at the moment. Is it just a question of time before copper has tariffs from here?
Yeah, well, we don't know. I think copper is in short supply globally. It's required for electrification, energy security, many uses. The US is a net importer of copper, and therefore Chile has been a very reliable trading partner for many years in the supply of copper. And from that point of view, you know, the imposition of tariffs or disruption to trade has the risk of impacting investment globally on copper.
Okay, but how's it going to impact you?
Well, we sell copper globally. Around or less than 10% of the copper that we sell goes to the US, and therefore, you know, we have a balanced portfolio in terms of our sales mix. But I would say, generally, again, Chile is well positioned, being a reliable trading partner with the US, you know, when it comes down to tariffs.
On this question of copper, you're also doing your best to build up copper producing facilities in the US, which in many ways is exactly what the president wants.
Indeed. Now, copper projects take long lead times.
How long?
You know, on average between 10 years and 8 years. So we're very keen. We have a project in the US called Twin Metals, and we've been trying to get it over, I mean, in terms of running, but that's taking time. And I hope that this administration will provide a more friendly environment for that to be developed.
Is that going to be your negotiating point through your government? Is it going to be, look, don't tariff us. There's a trade surplus with the United States, but more importantly, give us the permissions to go and dig for the copper in the US, the twin metals.
I tend to think that these go through separate lanes. So these are different things. Again, Chile is the #1 copper producer globally in the world, and there's very good trading relationships with the US. The US has a surplus in trading with Chile. We have very low tariffs. So I think from that point of view, we are expecting to see what will happen, but I think Chile is well positioned in this conversation. Whatever we do as a company in the US investing separately, I think it goes through different lanes. It's a separate story.
The way in which it goes forward, the whole region, there's a certain amount of turmoil over what's going to happen. Where is the administration going to rest? How is it going to be put together? That uncertainty is deeply worrying for people like you.
Yeah, I mean, certainly when we have an industry where copper is in shortage, which needs more investment, this is another element of uncertainty for investors, and therefore it can impact short-term investments, and therefore, yes, it is a concern from that point of view. You know, we like to see trade flows go freely across the world, because we think that benefits the global economy. So this does create additional uncertainty, which we have to deal with.
The market is saying what in copper at the moment? As I look at the price, and we just showed it a second or two on the screen, it's hard to gauge because copper is such an in vogue, bearing in mind the necessity of electrification and for digital. Everyone wants copper. Everyone wants copper. So it's hard to know what in the price is speculative, what is tariffs, what is concern. Where do you see it?
Look, I think most of it reflects the fundamentals of copper, which are positive. Copper is required for electrification, energy security, and those fundamentals are prevailing. There is short-term volatility associated to some of the noise in the market, but most of it reflects the fundamentals that copper is in short supply, is required, and it's going to be needed. And I think those fundamentals are quite solid and good for the copper mining industry.
Let's talk about the environment here. I don't mean the physical, obviously the physical environment, the economic environment. After dictatorship, then democracy, some rocky years, some civil unrest. How would you describe Chilean society now?
I think we've got a well-established democratic system and rule of law, which is good. I think the priorities, however, have changed and evolved recently. The most people are concerned with is getting growth back in the economy, getting investment moving, and second, public security, because that's been an issue as well in the region and in particular in Chile. But I think we have very solid institutions, and from that point of view, a very solid framework on which to build going forward.
I'm grateful, sir, that you came in to talk to us today. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank
Good
you,
to see
Richard.
you, sir.
Yeah.